Coaches, welcome back this week. I'm here with my staff, Graham and Micah, and we're going to give you 7 things today. We're going to give you 3 one-minute drills that you can put into your practice. Remember, you don't have to always do it the way that we do it. You can adapt it to your age, stage appropriate, but these are drills that you can implement to help build good habits within your team. But before we get there, we're going to talk about 4 things you can do to help your team bond together and grow together.
The first one's called Open Mic Monday. And our program, we really pride ourselves in transparency. We want our guys to be transparent with each other. We want our coaching staff to be transparent with each other. And we feel like that really makes our culture go the right direction and head the right direction. And so every single Monday we open it up, whether it's after film or preparing for a game. We just tell our guys, hey, this is an opportunity for you to air out whatever you're feeling. It could be something going on in your personal life or something maybe as a coaching staff we're not doing well. But we have found that's a really good way for our players just to air out however they're feeling, and we found that it's really worked really well for us.
Yeah, a couple things you want to think about in Open Mic Monday is how comfortable are you? And it takes time to grow it with your team. So we try and stay with the 3 boundaries of truth, love, and transparency. And that's how we want our players to talk to each other. You know, if they're not talking to each other and not telling the truth, they're not being honest. And if they're not talking to each other in love, it's just going to turn into an argument or a complaint. So one of the keys to Open Mic Monday is being able to facilitate that. And it doesn't just happen overnight. So it's going to have to build up in time. Number 2, this is something we do with our players during practice. It's player celebration. So when we come to the huddle at the end of practice, we just pick a particular person. So we don't give 3 or 4 people, but we're just looking for one guy. And we're going to say, hey, listen, let's everybody celebrate this one player. Let's just shower him with compliments. You'd be surprised at what the wonders it works for their confidence, for a player just to get celebrated. And for the teammates that are given those, it's equally as powerful. Those players are saying, hey, I'm willing to give to a teammate, and it works both ways.
Coaches, number 3 is date night. And I know that might sound weird to some of you all, but here we just don't talk about it. We want our players to actually be about it. And so a lot of the concepts we're going to talk about, we put them into practice. And like I said, the 3rd one is date night. And what we did is we had our guys go and get an actual date. And if you're coaching girls, you can do the same thing. They can get a date and bring a guy over to your house or to an event. And what we wanted to show them is that there's wholesome ways to entertain yourselves and also to have fun. And another higher arching theme was just how to respect and treat the opposite sex. We want to make sure we are building and growing and grooming men here at Emmanuel College. And I believe it was a real success. We got to see guys cook for the ladies that they brought, open doors, go and serve them, get them food and drinks, and it really just turned everything on its head. In addition to that, we had some fun games to play that just really made it enjoyable and showed them how to enjoy their time without making mistakes or doing things that are not going to serve them down the road.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. And let's just be truthful about it. Not every guy landed a date. They all tried, but not all of them did. But we still had a good time. We played some different games. We actually had a bouncy house there. We played some trivia games, and we played the dating game with people they didn't even know. So we had some good laughs, and it was just an opportunity. You know, I remember my dad used to always tell me, if you want to find out something about somebody you might be interested in having a long-term relationship with, see how they treat other people. And it was really interesting to see our players treat other people. Particularly the girls that they invited, or just to be around other couples and see how they interacted. It allowed us to give them some good coaching and to help grow them as men. And the last one, number 4, is Candor and Care. We did this one just the other day after a game. We actually had a tough loss, and we needed to get to the heart of things, but we also needed to build confidence. So we went with a Candor and Care session. And what we were looking for is we put the players into groups of 4, and we were having them show care for each other. Talk about the things that they really appreciate and love about each other. So we had them give about maybe 5 things or so, but then we went to the candor part of it as well. And this is where it got a little bit more real. Hey, here's what I love about you, Graham. Here's what I love about you, Mike. And we shower them a little bit, but then we say, hey, but here's the thing that's got to get better for our team to get better. That was the Candor and Care. So we have a lot of different things we do. We're always focusing on building good team culture around here. But those are 4 things that you might be able to apply to your team. And we'd also love to hear your ideas. So let us know what you're doing with your team to build a culture and to allow teams to bond better together. Enjoy today's drills. All right, let's break these 3 down for you. This first one is close and clip. There's going to be 2 things happening. First, the defender is going to toss the ball up, and they're going to work on the end of their closeout, the last 25% where they drop their butt, raise their hands up, and chop their feet. So that's what you're going to see the defender doing. Then the offensive player is going to make sure that they catch under control, and then they're going to clip the hip. So you're going to get a closeout and a clip the hip. That's why we call it close and clip. So you're going to see the offensive player drive shoulder to hip, put the hand on the back of the calf, and explode forward. Here you go. So that was close and clip. Don't emphasize everything. It's just a 1-minute drill to reiterate a couple of habits. We're just 2 habits we're trying to work with. Number 1 right there is the end of the closeout. How do we finish the closeout? By dropping our butt, throwing our hands up, chopping our feet right there. And then offensively, how do we get explosive and low and play in straight lines? Well, we play in straight lines, but make sure we get this shoulder to that hip. That ensures that we're low and explosive. Now we're going on to the second one right here. And the second one right here is what we call jump stop and bounces. And really, these are 2 alternatives to jumping in the air and throwing a pass. Things that get players in trouble. You know, in our PGC sessions, we teach players how to lower turnovers and how to take care of the ball so that they can be players that coaches trust. Here's a little 1-minute drill to emphasize those things. If you were to drive and a help side defender came, a lot of times we just jump and make a decision. And obviously, we're not going to have enough time to make a good decision. So you can do one of 2 things. You can jump stop, which is a great habit to build, or you could bounce out of that situation and just kind of restart the offense. So right here we have jump stops and bounce. Here we go. Jump stop and bounce hopefully will save you a few turnovers this year. It's a great habit for your players to build. The next one is another 1-minute drill that we're really quick in and probably only do it 2 or 3 times a week, even if that, maybe once a week. And it's called the vacuum drill. And what we're trying to do is just make sure we're good receivers of the ball. You would be blown away how many turnovers you'll have over the course of the year because somebody tries to catch it with one hand. What we're trying to teach here is for one player to throw a bad pass so that the offensive player has to get used to going all the way to the ball. Now sometimes you have to pull it in with one hand and get it to the second hand, but we don't want to just lazily reach for the ball. We want to move our bodies and receive the ball with 2 hands. I know it sounds extremely simple, but it's going to save you turnovers, and turnovers lead to points, and those few points a year is the difference in a good season and a bad season. So all habits are important, and this is the vacuum drill to be a better receiver of the basketball.
Go high, go back, out passes.
Coaches, thanks for joining us this week. Hopefully those 7 things will help you. The 4th thing is to help build bonds between your team. That's what leads to a special season. You got to constantly be working to build that culture and to build those bonds between players so that they can achieve more. And the other 3 1-minute drills, you know, they're not world beaters, they're not definite game changers, but it's the little things that add up that make the difference in your season. So what are the habits that you want to emphasize? Even if they're not those 3, 1-minute drills, emphasizing habits can make for a better team and less turnovers over the course of the season. We'll see you next week, coaches.